I'm Don, and this is The Hobbyist Geek. Welcome back, y'all. Today I have something special. Something I've never done before. We have the ROKR 3D pinball. I've made some pieces that are slightly interactive, but nothing that you can like play, like a game or anything. Also, this is big. This is a heavy box. There's a lot in here. So let's bring you in. We'll take a look at what we got. All right, so here's packaging. As you can see, the tape's coming off on this side, still attached over here. This box is so big, I can't even get the camera up high enough to get the whole thing in, really. That's awesome. Awesome. All right, we've got a nice product image here. And one thing I notice is this could really use some color. It really can. Sadly, I am not a painter. In fact, I pretty much suck at it. But I am gonna give it a shot. See, I picked up, just for the heck of it, this CaliArt iridescent acrylic paint, 24 different colors. I thought iridescent would be kind of cool, so that's why I got it. I hope I can do this, but what it does mean is that this is probably going to take more videos than it typically would, because I'm going to be painting the pieces as we go. Won't necessarily go through that whole process, especially because painting is subjective, and if you choose to do this and paint it yourself, you can pick whatever colors you want. Okay, let's get this thing open and see what we have. I can figure out how to get this thing open. Here we go. Oh man, look at this. DC power supply, copper plated bells, ramp launch, all kinds of wonderful, wonderful little things. Let's get this off here. Okay, so this opens from the bottom. Let's see here. And then flips it up, and oh my, look at this. There we go. All right, what do we have here? Look at how many layers of wood we have. And maybe some plastic. Guessing that's what the red is here. Look at this. Oh man, I'm gonna have to lay this out and we'll see what we've got, but that's spectacular. Okay, over here we have a whole mess of plastic parts on sprues. The lettering on these reminds me a lot of the marble runs we did, the ROKR marble runs. I don't see anything that really stands out. No cracked pieces or anything like that I can see on just quick inspection. And here we have a massive instruction booklet. Look at this thing. Wow. Okay. Here we have our parts list, which I will of course have to go through and just confirm that we have everything. I have absolutely no idea. Don't know how to describe it. No idea what it is. All right, there's got to be more here. Oh my! Look at this. Silver bag. I'm guessing there's a circuit board in here. look at this. We got some tools, Allen wrench, screwdriver, springs. I'm thinking that's probably for the launcher handle. That's my guess. Bunch of gaskets and things of that nature. Whatever the heck that is. Looks cool though. And more little parts. Looks like they're even giving us some tape this time. That's cool. I don't know if that's what that is or not, but that's what it looks like. Okay, USB power supply, screws and nuts, more circuit boards, and various cables, on-off switch, very nice. I have no idea. I mean, we got some ports on here, so it looks like a motherboard of some sort. But very, very cool. All right, is there anything else in here? Nope, looks like that's it. All right, let me get this wood out. We'll lay it out and see how much we got. Oh my Lord. Look at all of this wood. This is a 6-foot table, y'all. And, you know, yes, my tools are on one end, but still, that doesn't take up too much. And I do have an extra little TV stand here I had to bring out for more wood. Needless to say, I'm not going to be able to leave it laid out like this for easy selection while building this piece. So I do hope that they go relatively in order. As you can see, this is a circus themed piece, and look at all of this. Okay, this is astounding, the amount of detail that's here. I'm loving it. I am seriously loving all of this. Now, as far as the painting goes, I don't really have a plan, to be honest. I probably should, but I don't. I'm gonna play it by ear. I'm probably gonna avoid painting anything the marbles will run on, simply because I'm afraid of leaving brush strokes that'll impact the way it moves. But this right here, by the way, has got to be the base where most of this is going to run. So this should give you an idea of the playable surface and about how large it's going to be. Well, let's see here. Each one of these is 1 centimeter. Each square is 1 centimeter. So, quick measurement here. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, about 40 centimeters, give or take, for a playable surface. All right, cool. Well, let me get organized, count the parts, and see if we can get started on this thing. All right, well, here are all of the pieces that we will need for step 1. Do have some bad news though. I've elected not to paint the piece. I'm just gonna have to return those paints, but after seeing how much wood and the sheer scope of this project, and my relative skill with painting, I've decided I bit off a bit more than I can chew. So we're just gonna leave it bland, and for any of you that do decide to take this on and paint it, I've got nothing but respect and would love to see the final product. I bet it'd be awesome works of art. But for me, I think it's simply going to take far too long, and I have a limited amount of time to get all of these done and film them and get them out to you. So we're just going to stick with the basic assembly. Now before you get started, you should make sure that you pop these out. These are on sheet K, tool 1 and tool 2. These are going to come in very handy as you are assembling the piece. Now we're going to kick things off with I1 here. And we're going to take P25, found in bag 4, and that's going to go through the second hole here, just like this. You pop it all the way in, just like that. Now you follow it up with this little nut here, P18, and what you'll do is string the cable through the nut. Wow. Just like that. And we'll screw it in nice and tight. And that is where tool 2 is going to come into play right off the bat. All right. Look at that. Awesome. Now we're going to take I think they here we go. I-17 right here, this piece. We're going to slide it into this slot right here, just like this. Or like this instead, because sometimes I get things backwards. There you go. Make sure it's flush. We're going to take another I-17 and we're going to do the same thing right there. Look at that. Spectacular. Now, we've got I-6 right here. And you've got this slot on the bottom that's facing upwards. That's going to go into this slot right here. And we have I-7, which will go on the other side. There we go. Look at that. Now we're going to take I-5. That's this beautiful piece right here. And that is going to slot on here where these are, and it's going to slide all the way down. Look at that. There are these 3 tabs on top. Those will pop into these 3 holes. All right. Look at that. Now we're going to take H1. That's this big puppy right here. And that is basically going to do the same thing, only this time these will also go all the way through. All right, and look at that. What an awesome way to make sure that we retain a perfect structure too. How incredible. Okay, now we've got 4 of these I-4s. And what you're going to want to do is take the base in this orientation, and then you're going to want to take the piece and make sure this slot right here goes into these slots right there, and the main portion comes up through that hole. So we're going to come in from the bottom, push it in, and then pop this in, make sure it's nice and flush. Just like that. And then we do it 3 more times. Look at that. Incredible. All right, now we've got B5 here. And B5 will come in right here with these hooks going in here and the tabs in the bottom going down there. Just like that. All right, we got B1 that'll go in the center and B2 will go right here. Same concept. All right, beautiful. We're gonna finish this off with I2. And this is an interesting one because basically these tabs here, the small ones, those are going to go into these 3 holes. So this is really going to come in from the front. But these edges here are going to come in through these slots on the side. So let's see if we can make that happen. All right, look at this. So we've got this propping up the edges of our display pieces here. We got those tabs in there, and these are in the proper slots too. This is great. And that is the end of step 1. All right, here are the pieces we're gonna need for step 2. I'm gonna bring this back out again. We're gonna take I13. It's these puppies. I got 2 of them. On the back side, you'll notice there's a little hole down here and a slot up here. Well, that's for this tab here and that slot there. So you're gonna have to put it in at an angle to begin with and then bring it up and slot it in. Just like that. And then you do the same thing on the other side. Bingo, just like that. Now, we're gonna take B7 here, and that's gonna go into those 2 holes there with those 2 pegs. So let's just pop that in. There we go. Should look like that when you're done. Now we've got another B7 for this side and a B3 for the center one. And they're gonna go in exactly the same way. So let's go ahead and get that done. All right, here we go. All 3 are complete. All right, here's where the fun really gets started. Basically, what we've got here is B10, which will go here. Yeah, that's weird. Then B9, which will go here. And B15, which will go here. And we've got these F1, these tiny, tiny little things. And they're gonna pop into these holes. So there's 1 here, and 1 here, 3 here, 1 there, 1 here, 1 here. Now, what's odd to me is I can't quite figure out where it's supposed to go for this guy, or this one. The instructions clearly show something near the head. I guess, just like that, just above the head. Seems like the hole right here would have been a better place to put it. You know what? Now I know why. Haha, look at that. Oh, You do this, and it does match up. Now, as it turns out, the pictures are like this, but it looks like the labeling is a little off on. They had the labels reversed, but the pictures are correct. So that's how it goes. So one right through the trumpet, one here, same on this side, 3 on the bottom, 1 on the top. And these are tiny, tiny little pegs. So if you happen to have one of these little hammers, I would suggest using it. All right, there we go. I actually found it easier to put the pegs into the display piece first and then push it down all at once. But as you can see, we have all 8 pegs in and these beautiful images. That was fun. All right, and with that done, we're gonna pull out I-8 here. That's this beautiful piece. And that is effectively going to go onto these 2 posts with these 2 slots, kind of like this. All right, look at that. It's awesome. All right, and that holds these in place. They are now locked in. All right. All right, next up, we're going to pull out I-14 here. We also have 2 of these little I-3s. You see these big holes on either side? You're going to want to put those in so that the long side is vertical. Like that. We'll do the other side. Boom! All right, now these 4 pieces are going to slide into these 4 slots all the way down and go into these 4 pegs. There we go. We might want to make sure it's all flush down here. And now comes something I've kind of been dreading, but we'll get it done. We've got A15 and A10. We got 4 of them. So we're going to take A10, we're going to put it into A15. Just like that, so that they match on the lengthways. And then this, that big peg there, is going to go into that hole. And as you can see, we've got 4 of them to do. So let's go ahead and push this in. All right, should look like that when you're done. And now you do it 3 more times. And there you have it. And that, my friends, completes step 2. We are on our way. All right, here are the parts that we'll need for step 3. We have B20. What a beautiful piece that is. And this tiny little G2. Look at that. And we're just going to put G2 in here horizontally. Just like that. And now we're going to take G4 here. And that peg is going to go in the center of the wheel here. Just like that. Now we have I-12. Now the key spots to note on I-12 are going to be this slot, this slot, this slot, and this slot there. So those are going to go onto these 2 tabs and these two tabs. There we go. Look at that. All right. With all of that in place, we're going to bring this back out here. And you can see you've got all of these tabs down here, or all of these slots, I should say. And you've got all of these tabs here. All of that will line up and plug in together. So it should go in nice and smooth. Let's find out. All right, should look like that. And there are actually two tabs and slots back here that also go in play. So this thing, nice and secure. Now we're going to pull out this. This is H5. We also have a 1. There are 4 holes in the corners and 4 little dots. Note the arrows. That indicates this is the front and that this is up. So we're going to put this in just like this. And we're going to be using 4 of these P43 screws that come out of bag 17 in those 4 corners to hold it in place. Beautiful. Absolutely spectacular. Bringing this back out, we've got these 3 slots. We've got the 3 small tabs on the bottom. That's where this is going to go. All right, there we go. Look at that. Awesome. And that ends step 3. Okay, here are the parts that we're going to need for step 4. We can kick things off with I9 here, and if you'll take a look, this side is blank, this side has these little engraved spots. And what you're going to want to do is take P56 here. This is double-sided tape. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is pull it apart a little bit, I guess. Yeah, a little bit like this, and you're going to want to cut it to length so that it matches those sections. So let's go ahead and get that in. Alright, should look a little something like that when you're done. And now you're going to want to peel the upper portion of the film off. Leave the tape in place, but you still want it sticky. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, but the tape is still there, just the covering film is off. And now you're going to want to take 2 of these. These are I-19. And you're going to want to put them into these 2 holes. Just like that. Make sure the hole is facing the tape. Okay. And that is where P35 comes in. That is this beautiful thing. Now this is going to come up through the big hole here, just like that. Then you're going to want to string it through these holes on the I-19s and just kind of bring it all the way across and then stick it down to the tape. All right, in the end, it should look a lot like that. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, now we flip it over. Okay, we're gonna have the cable coming out the top now. We're going to take B14 here. We're basically going to bring it up and in here, then bring it over and push it back. Okay, so that it should lock in place like that. B16 is the same for the other side. Much like that. With that in place, we're going to bring in H3, and that's going to come up from the bottom. Notice these two little pegs on the sides? Those will go into these holes here. So once this is in place, it should really hold the first two nice and secure as well. All right, look at that. Nice. All right, and with that in place, we can bring this thing back out. All right, these two slots here and here are for these tabs here. And then these three big tabs here on the top, right there, that is for these three holes. Make sure you don't pinch your cable. Woo! Look at that. That's really nice. I like that. All right, cool. Cool. Let's see what's next. All right, next up, we got L4. And that's going to come in here and do exactly the same thing. It's going to come in and then you pull it forward so that these slots overlap here. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, much like that. Okay. Now we're going to take L5 here, and we've got H2, and these two big tabs are going to go into these slots just like this. Okay, and now this whole thing is going to slide down here, and you've got these four tabs, the two little ones right there and the two big ones that will all fit together. And give us a beautiful little display. As it turns out, these big tabs on the back also go in, so even better. All right. There we go. Look at that. Excellent. And that, my friends, is the end of step 4. Alrighty, here are most of the parts that we're going to need for step 5. As it turns out, this is piece B18, and there's supposed to be 2 of them. I only have 1. I went back and reviewed the footage from before, and sure enough, the second one was missing from the sheet when I pulled it out. So, sad. The good news is, this is an external piece, so when ROKR sends me a replacement, I'll be able to add it with no problems, even with a fully assembled piece, and it is not critical to the build. It is decorative, so it's not going to interfere with performance either. So this is awesome. It means we can continue with the build. We'll just be missing one of these. To kick off step 5, we're going to take part D8 here, and we've got 4 of these little A5s. Those are going to go into these 4 slots there, and what you're going to want to do is actually push them through so they're equidistant on both sides. just like that. Okay, and do it 3 more times. All right, there we go. All 4 are in. And now we're gonna take A8 and we're gonna do the same thing for this big center slot. All right, look at that. All right, with this in place, you can take G20 here, and that will plop down right here on the front. And yep, little pins will line up with this hole, this hole, this hole, this hole, and of course the big A8 will go right through there. Just push it all in. All right, just like that. And then you have G21, which will go on the back, same basic premise. All right, look at that right there. Now we're gonna take B11 here, and that's gonna go right on there. Line it up so that the star is oriented appropriately. And we've got H19 here, which will go on this little pin. Same deal. All right, like that. We're gonna do the same thing on the back. All right, there we go. Now we'll bring this back out. And these big tabs here will go on these sides, and these tabs will go into the 2 center ones, just like this. Look at that. Now we have 2 B4s. Okay, one in this slot and one in this slot here. Okay, just like that. 2 B17s. Again, this slot and this slot. There we go. And now we'll take the B18 that we have, and that will go into these 3 holes right here. Just like that. And if you're lucky enough to have both right off the bat, the second one would do the same on the back side. And that is the end of step 5. Alrighty, here are all the parts we need for step 6. This is a big step. I can't wait. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into. Okay, we're gonna kick things off. We've got an I16 here. We're gonna take I15 right here. And we're going to just punch this through just like that. On the other side, we have I18. It's this puppy. And that also will just punch through just like that. Now, these are not really secure right now. They're very wobbly. It's not very tight at all. What's going to happen is they're going to slide down here. Oh, that's not showing up on camera. Let's try this again. Okay. They're going to slide down here, the side that's got the cable coming out. But first, you got to take your cable, and it's going to go into this hole on I18. And as it goes down, it's going to end up going through this hole right here. I don't know if you can see that. Right about here. I hope that's showing up on camera well enough. And then you bring the whole assembly down all the way through. So let me do that. All right, wow, okay. So it should look like this when you're done, and your cable should come all the way out the bottom. So it should go into that hole right there, And there's a series of holes that'll bring it all the way down through to here, just like that. And now we've got one tower done. Let's see what we can do about the other one. All right, so we've got I-10. We have I-16 here, and that will go in just like that. We have another I-15 for the outside. Just like that. And this one, no cables to worry about. So we're just gonna put this thing down right through there. Make sure I-15 is on the outside. All right, and there we go, look at that. Spectacular. All right, now we've got two of these D1 pieces. And those are gonna go on the front side here into that, through the top right here, and then slide it all the way down and into that little slot down here. There we go, just like that. Do the same on the other side. Look at that, beautiful. Now we've got D2 here, and that will go on the back side. That'll go over here with D3 over here. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. All right, now we're gonna take A6 and A14. Basically gonna slide them together. Just like that. And then we're gonna come over here and you can see that little slot there. You're gonna push it into there. Great. Do exactly the same thing on the other side. There you go. All right, next up, move some of this stuff over here. All right, we've got A3, which will go here, and A2, which will go here. And we've got a bunch of these. Let's see, what are they? F1s, these little F1 pins. And as it turns out, we're going to do the same thing on the other side as well. So we're going to do 4 of these. Now, that big tab on the bottom will go into the slot right there. And then those pins should line up with the holes on the back. I'm not sure how we're going to slide all this together, but I'm sure I will figure it out. There we go. So slot it in just right. And get this little tab in there. A little F1 piece. All right. Easiest way I found, get the pins in, but make them flush with the rear so that you don't interfere with getting it into the slot. Then push them into the slot, and you should be able to push them down into the holes. You can use your little hammer if you have one. That's one done. That's much harder than it seems. All right, got to do it 3 more times. I'll be right back. Okay, whew. Getting those tiny little pins in is so much harder than it seems, but they're in, and my little drummers are looking wonderful. Excellent, 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 excellent. Now we're going to take these A7s here. These are little ones. They're going to go into the slot here in the bottom of each of our little drummers. Get one of them in. There we go, much like that. And then we also have a 11 here, and that's going to go into that top slot. So let's get that in too. All right, so it should look like that when that's done. And now you got to do both of those 3 more times as well. So let me get that done. I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. All 4 sets are complete. We can move on a little bit. So what we're going to do is take H10 here. And we've got 2 A13s. That would be these. And those are going to punch up from the bottom. Make sure the printed side is facing outward on both sides. Okay, and then it will slide down on top of this, just like this. All the way down. There we go. Should look like that when you're done. And then you can take I11 here, and that'll pop down on top here. Just like that. Now, what we're going to do is take H15 here, and we're going to take G7. I'm going to push this through like this. There we go, just like that. And then that slot will go in there. Okay, should go all the way down, make sure it's flush. And from there, we're going to take H7 here and H18. We're going to push H18 through, just like that. And then it'll go right in the center of this hole here, all the way down. Yep, there we go. Just like that. Okay, and now we're going to repeat all of that for the other side. All right, there we go. And with that done, the back of our pinball machine is complete, and we're going to set this aside and start working on the next segment. Alrighty, y'all, here are all the parts we need for step 7. As you can see, this is a big one. This is a big one. But before we can really get started, I'm gonna have to move some of this stuff out of the way and off camera. I promise it will be right back. I'll take all this up here. Because really what you want is to start with these. Now, the objective here for this first little part is to take, wow, I can't grab it, there we go, P55 here. We're going to stick it to K3 about like that, give or take. Okay, you want it to cover every one of those slots there. And that is going to require a lot of sticky tape. And this time there's no guides to help you figure out where they go. The instructions do showcase, so I'm going to do my best to replicate, and I will show you what it looks like when I'm done. So, according to the instructions, it should look about like that. Then we'll just peel off the film here, and then we will apply this, and this part will be done. All right, look at that. Spectacular. We're going to flip this thing over just like this, and we're going to need another string of the double-sided tape here. This time we do have a little bit of a guide. It's right there. Now what I've got left in this string is just a little bit short, but I'm sure it will be just fine. So let me go ahead and get that in. Yeah, there we go. That should work fine. Now before I take that film off, we're going to bring these out. These are G14s. We got 3 of them, and those 3 are going to go into these holes right here, these top holes. So let me go ahead and get those in. There we go. Should look a little something like that when you're done. Now we're going to pull the film off of here, just like that. And now we're going to bring out G10. And these 3 pegs will go through these 3 holes. And the tape will just help hold that edge in. Now, with that in place, we're going to bring out 3 more of these G14s, and those are going to go into these 3 holes. There we go, just like that. Now we're going to bring out G1. Then we're going to need another piece of double-sided tape over here, just on this section right here. I'm guessing it should match about that length. So let's go ahead and do that. There's no guide this time. All right, I'm guessing something like that. I just used this as a guide. And we'll peel the film off. And I'm sure you figured it out by now. These 6 pins will go into those 6 holes, with the tape just there to help keep things stable. Look at that. Wonderful. All right, now we're going to take one of these A4s. No, these pieces like this. These are A4s, and they're going to go into these 5 slots with the, I guess, wide end here going in first. So it should look a bit like that when you're done. And now you do it 4 more times. There we go. Look at that. And that, my friends, is where we bring out B13. And that, we got the 5 slots on the edge. Those will go onto those pegs. There we go. Spectacular. Now we're going to bring out these little A9s. There's 3 of them, and they'll go into those 3 holes there. There you go, just like that. Then we've got B19 and A12. B19 will come on here with these pegs. Beautiful. A12 will go on the top peg. Just like that, and then you do it twice more. Look at that. Beautiful. Now you're going to take your K10 here, and that'll go into that big hole right there. There we go, just like that. We're going to finish this thing off by taking C20 for these 5 pegs around the edge. Just like that. And we've got B8 here for the 3 pegs in the middle. Just like that. And H4 is going to go in like this right here to finish it off. Just like that. And that, my friends, is the end of step 7, and it looks like the completion of one of the sides. Awesome. Now step 8 is actually going to duplicate this for the other side. So some of the stuff will be reversed, but for the most part it's going to be exactly like what we just did. So there's no real point in showing you all over again. So I'm just going to get it done, and I'll be right back. All right, and there we go, y'all. 2 sides looking spectacular. That is the end of step 8. Alrighty, here are the parts that we need for step 9. You'll also need to make sure you have your wax. I've got some Impressa wood lubricant here that I use on all of my projects. We're gonna kick things off here by taking G16, and we've got 2 of these H11s, and these little pins here are going to go through that hole right in the center, and we're going to do the same for the other H11, making sure that this little slot here in the back is facing upwards. And then we're going to pull out G17 here, and these 3 tabs on the bottom of the 11 are going to go into these 3 tabs on either side of 17. So let's go ahead and make that happen. All right, there we go. This can flip up and down, which is great. It's really tight, but it does do it. All right, now we're going to take H6 right here. We're going to pop that in the back, just like this. There we go. Look at that. Spectacular. And now what we're going to do is we're gonna wax the tops of these rails here. Now we pull out H14. You're gonna wanna wax the underside and the sides. So the bottom and the sides inside this crevice here. And then we're gonna take our assembly and push it in from behind. And there we go, look at that. Then we're gonna lift this up. And I seem to have missed pulling out a part, so let's get that. My apologies. Okay, this is gonna be H9. Right over here. So we're just gonna pop this out. Give it a quick sand. All right, and it's just gonna go right on here like this. Bingo, just like that. We can move this back down again, and yeah, there it goes. It should clip right in. Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, this is gonna be fun. Okay, we've got C24 here. And that's gonna go in here, lining up the big hole with the center hole and these two outer holes with these two outer holes. And we're gonna take two of these. These are P14s. Why does that not sound right? P44. My bad. That's exactly why. These are P44s. They come out of bag 18. There we go, just like that. Now on the flip side, what you're gonna wanna do is take H17 here and C23. C23 will layer right on top. And you've got, my springs are just going all over the place. P45, these gold screws, they come out of bag 19. And then we'll just go through both, just like that. And then I'll go into those inner holes from behind. Look at that, just like that. It's a beautiful thing. Now you're gonna wanna take this, which is P8. And you're gonna wanna wax the entire length of the unthreaded shaft. Just the unthreaded shaft. Beautiful. With that done, we're gonna take P13, which is the 25 millimeter screw, or spring, I should say. We'll throw that on there. Then we'll push this through from behind here, through this hole. Now we'll take P14, the 10 millimeter screw, and that will go in there, or spring, and that will go in there. And P17, which is the little ball here, we'll just screw that on the front. This is a hex bolt here. And we do have a couple of Allen wrenches to assist us with getting this in nice and tight. All right, I think I've got that in as tight as it's gonna go. Look at that. Beautiful. Gee, I wonder what this is for. The Allen wrench didn't quite fit in there, but that's all right. My personal screwdriver did. Worked wonders. I might as well leave this out, actually. We're gonna need a lot of it later. All right. Now, we're gonna take G3 here and G25. G3, it's got 3 tabs on the bottom. It's gonna go into the 3 holes here on G25. And then these 3 tabs here will go into these 3 slots. All right, and there we go. That is the end of step 9. We now have part of the front face. We've got our plunger and our ball storage. Look at that. Spectacular. Alrighty, y'all. Here are all of the parts that we're going to need for step 10. And this is a lot. So we're gonna have to clear some of this off to actually work, but we've got it out and ready to rock and roll. Now, what we're gonna do is start with H20 right here, okay? And facing this way, okay? This is the printed side that actually has the H20 on it. So you wanna face it this way. We're gonna take G23 here. We're gonna set that down right there. And then we have P36, comes out of bag 13. This would be the speaker. And that will come, make sure the cable is facing, well, I guess up when it's in this direction. Then it'll go right in the center there. And we're gonna take G22. We're gonna cover that up just like this. Look at that. And now we've got 3 P45s, the gold screws that come out of bag 19, to go into these 3 holes, and they're gonna screw all the way through. All right, look at that. Excellent. Now we're gonna take P26. This is the power switch, and that will that comes out of bag 4. That'll go through this big square hole here. Cable first. And just push it in. There you go, just like that. Now we've got 2 H16s. These long sides here will go into these 2 slots, just like that. And now we're going to take H13 here. And okay, make sure all of this is on the side where the speaker is. And the speaker cable is going to go through that little slot right there. So we'll bring the speaker cable through just like that. And all of this, yeah, should line up pretty well. Like that. So the speaker cable, again, through that little slot. Power switch cable will go through that hole right there. Just like that. Very nice. Now we're bringing out H21 here. All right. Once again, double-sided tape and our little red film P54. And that will go, as I'm sure you can imagine, just like this. And yeah, you're gonna wanna make sure that it lines up with this bottom here, okay? Don't make it go high like this, okay? Because you'll be blocking this hole. You want it all the way down on the bottom, all right? As for the tape, let me go ahead and get that in. I'll show you where it all goes. Should go just like that, just these 4 strips. So we'll peel the film off and then put that red filter on there. And there we go. Look at that. With that done, we can pop it onto this side right here, right through these holes. Just like that. Spectacular. Lovely. All right. Now, we're gonna take part H12 here and note the direction of the arrow. That'll tell you which way this is supposed to go. And it's gonna pop down on here. Yeah, just like this. All right, look at that. All right, next up, we have D11. And that will go here. We've got D10. And that will go here. Note, the part with the engraving is on the outside, okay? These are slightly thicker, so it is important that you get the orientation correct, okay? We have D9. And that will go here, followed by D13 here on the end with this tab here going into that hole there. Just like this. Now, D4. Gonna slot on here just like this. Get that pushed all the way down because we're gonna be doing some layering here. Ooh, D4's got a bit of a warp to it. Hopefully that will not negatively impact things here. We're going to follow that up with D14 and finally D12. All right. Well, with all of this on, it is helping the warp a little bit, but not enough in my opinion. Well, this is actually it for stage 10. So we're gonna have to wait a bit to see if this does indeed impact our piece later on. I hope it does not. Well, sadly, that is all we have time for today, but look at everything we've accomplished. We've got the left and right sides. We've got 2 pieces for the front of our pinball machine, and of course the back with the big display there. Man, this is looking incredible. I cannot wait to see what comes next. Really hope you liked the video. If you did, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.